What's up, guys? It's your boy Zwolki back with another of the Zwolki videos. And today I wanted to look at more into, obviously, the assassination attempt on Donald Trump. Mostly because things are coming out of the air, or not the air, but coming out that the director of the Secret Service knew about it, possibly planned it. I'm like, and it's almost like the case of John F. Kennedy being assassinated, which I definitely do love the history about it. Not that John F. Kennedy was assassinated, but the whole conspiracy that it might have been an inside job because Oswald wasn't the shooter. It could have been the Secret Service, or it could have been that old woman in the pink jacket, or whatever have you. I want to look more into this case with the director and the actual mapping of the shooting, because it doesn't add up. It doesn't add up at all. So before we go any further, if you guys could do me a solid favor and subscribe to the YouTube channel by hitting that white bar icon down at the bottom right. Hit that bell icon next to it. So when I do post videos like this one, you guys will get that little ring notification that I've posted that video. And then you guys can watch, comment, like, and share. And again, thank you guys so very much for that continued love and support that you guys show on this channel every single day. I can't thank you guys enough, and keep doing what you guys are doing, and we'll continue to keep growing together. With that being said, we're going to get into the Trump shooting mapping. So again, warning, viewer discretion is advised. If you guys do not like this kind of stuff, I suggest you not watch this, because I don't want you guys to feel obligated to have to watch it. And again, some people are squeamish when it comes to this kind of stuff. So again, viewer discretion is advised. All right, so this is coming from the channel of Fern. I don't know who Fern is, but this is the one that is mapping everything when it comes to this video. So let's take a look.
It's the 13th of July in Butler, Pennsylvania. Former U.S. President Donald Trump speaks at a rally. It's only days until he plans to accept the official Republican nomination. He's just minutes into his speech when shots are fired.
Take a look at what happened.
Trump got hit, but survived.
Apparently, the director was behind him in the stands, and she ducked and knew, which was shocking to say the least. But
someone tried to assassinate him in broad daylight. Here is how it unfolded.
So he was behind him? Oh, wow. Okay. Vern.
By the time this video is published, new details might have emerged.
They do. They have.
It's a hot, sweltering early evening as tens of thousands gather here to see Trump. Pennsylvania is one of 6 vital swing states that will help secure the win in the next presidential election. Butler skews heavily Republican, and it is a blue-collar town.
This is a big crowd. This is a big, beautiful crowd.
He is surrounded by supporters. Most are sitting or standing in front of the stage. Some sit on the bleachers, center, left, and right.
I know there was somebody over here that had lost their lives, a fire department employee, or a firefighter, sorry.
Trump support staff and security, including Secret Service agents, are right at the stage. Behind him are 3 large buildings. On the roof of the building on the far left and on the far right are...
And they said that the guy that took the shot or whatever on the shooter, they fired him because he didn't listen. Like, come on.
Secret Service snipers. They are constantly scanning the surroundings, looking for threats. They can be seen in this video filmed by a crowd member.
And right there.
Hello, Butler, and hello to Pennsylvania. I'm thrilled to be back.
Trump begins with his speech. Things seem normal. He turns to the right and points at a chart showing statistics on border crossings. At the same time, several people in the crowd notice a man with a gun on the roof of a building close by.
He's got a gun!
It's too late.
Take a look at what happened.
All of a sudden, bullets start flying.
Sounds like the second shot hit him.
Look what happened.
All of a sudden, bullets start
Maybe
flying.
the first one did.
One even gets captured on camera.
He turned his head just enough, like right before, and oh my gosh, man.
Another building, about 400 feet or
That's,
120
like,
meters north of the
ridiculous.
stage. The shots are coming from here, on the roof. The gunman is 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks. He is armed with an AR-15 semi-automatic rifle. The gun was legally purchased by his father. First, he apparently fires a round of 3 shots.
Take a look at what happened.
Trump reaches up with his hand. The first bullet pierces the upper part of his right ear. He will later say that turning over to the right at that exact moment prevented the bullet from hitting him right in the head.
Oh my gosh.
He ducks down behind the podium, and within 3 to 4 seconds after the first shot, Secret Service agents swarm the former president and shield him with their bodies. Crooks opens fire again, immediately, with 5 more shots. Right before the first shot by Crooks, one of the snipers on the left roof behind Trump seems to detect the gunman and prepares to return fire.
Take a look at what happened.
Some outlets report that these snipers killed Crooks, while the Secret Service confirmed its personnel neutralized the shooter. We could not corroborate that it was in fact these specific agents. The gunman also hit spectators on the bleachers. 1 man died, 50-year-old Corey Comprador. 2 others were critically injured. With Trump's microphone still on, we can hear the tense exchanges among the agents.
Move it there. Hold. When you're ready. On you. Ready. Move. Up. Move. Go.
About 42 seconds after Crooks opened fire, they confirm the shooter is down.
But you never know. There was rumors that there was another shooter. The conspiracies are ridiculous. That was on top of a water tower or something like that. But you never hear any other shots after that other shooter was gone.
Shooter's down. Are we good to move? We're clear. Let's move. We're clear.
They prepare to escort him to an armored vehicle.
Come on.
Let me get my shoes. Let me get my shoes.
I got you, sir.
Let me get my shoes, sir.
Hold that in your head, it's bloody.
So we gotta move to the bus. Let me get my shoes.
Okay, my shoes down.
Watch out.
Wait.
In about 75 seconds after ducking to the ground, Trump raises his fist. He is mouthing the words, "Fight, fight, fight." The resulting photos immediately travel around the entire world. The crowd starts to chant for the former president as he leaves the stage, bleeding. Trump is then rushed to a hospital. Later that night, he is flown to New Jersey. He appears to be well. There are a lot of questions we don't have an answer to right now.
Not yet.
Why were the forces unable to prevent the attack?
Because apparently the Secret Service told him not to return fire. So
Analysis on X suggests that at least the snipers on the roof behind Trump were likely scouting for dangers further away, with this rooftop possibly falling into the responsibility of other law enforcement agents. We were unable to corroborate that. Why couldn't armed men climb up on this building? What was Crooks'
So what
motive?
was interesting too is right here, this spot right here, there was a ladder where he had put his ladder. But apparently over here, there's another ladder from a Secret Service ladder. I'm like, what the flip is happening?
The gunman had no criminal history in Pennsylvania's public court records. The New York Times found a voter registration record for Crooks. It shows that he was registered as a Republican. They also found that he donated $15 to a liberal voter turnout group through a Democratic donation platform in 2021. He was a kitchen worker and had a membership at a local shooting club. The FBI found suspicious devices in both his car and home.
Oh yeah, that his car had a whole bunch of bombs inside that he was gonna explode. Like, really?
They are being evaluated by the agency at the time of this recording. The investigation is ongoing, and new information is being published by the minute. President Biden and various leaders around the world condemned the attack and political violence at large. The picture of Trump, bloodied but defiant, with a raised fist in front of the American flag, will surely become a powerful symbol in his re-election campaign.
It just tipped him. Oh my goodness. So, with that being said, let's go look at the other one about the director. This one is from Martin Decoder, this video, which we've watched him before on Chris Watts and the Gabby Petito case. So I definitely highly enjoy this guy's breakdown and so forth about body language and so forth. So let's take a look.
But we will always ensure the safety of all of our protectees that we have.
We need to attract diverse candidates, and that diversity is just part of this agency and giving opportunities to everybody.
I love that they reach out to Tyler
snap.
Perry.
He's already
On
like...
one hand, Kimberly Cheadle, the director of Secret Service, and CBS sell Secret Service as an agency comprised of the very best of the very best.
Drivers show us how they work.
So this would be if you're running away from something in traffic?
Well, this could be get out of the area. Maybe the motorcade's under attack.
Whoa!
So we're gonna get out of here in a hurry.
Okay, we're at a roadblock right now.
She's not enjoying it.
Drivers like J-turns.
About face and keep it moving.
However, on the other hand, under Cheadle's rule, Cheadle, who was appointed by Biden, there's another contradictory agenda inside the agency. An agenda that has nothing to do with being the very best and everything to do with ideology. In this video, I'll emphasize the problems with Cheadle's statements and the problems with journalism and many of the 5-minute news features that people are being fed around the world. In the following, Cheadle gives people the impression that she is strictly professional and not an ideologue. What we're about to see is also typical of much or most news coverage. They start with ethos appeal, making the person in question seem competent and credible, in order to make the ideology, the thing that isn't grounded in facts but politics and emotions, easier to digest.
One of your predecessors said training without a White House replica is like training for a basketball game without hoops.
Absolutely.
That's why she wants Congress to fund a replica White House for training.
Your team has gone to an unusual place as part of the research on how to build a mock White House. I'm thinking about a Hollywood-related place.
They visited Tyler Perry's production studios in Atlanta, which has a replica White House.
He was gracious enough to allow us to take a tour of it.
And she served on then Vice President Biden's protective detail. He named her director in mid-2022.
Now that CBS has the framing in place with Cheadle as the competent director who wants the best training facilities for her employees, which makes her seem credible, they then move on to the only part of the news feature that features a hint of criticism. Notably, this criticism isn't the main focus of the news feature. Notice how the interviewer handles Cheadle's answers, or doesn't handle them.
Amid a swirl of controversy over the agency deleting nearly all of its text messages from January 6th, the agency says that was due to a data migration.
System migrations happen, but I think for a lot of Americans, it just doesn't pass the smell test, given the timing and the volume of messages deleted.
Well, it's unfortunate that that would be the assumption that people would make. Our integrity is everything, and there was nothing nefarious attached to that.
According to the argument model, what Cheadle's saying isn't even an argument. An argument needs to have a claim and grounds. Cheadle is merely making claims. Simply saying that their integrity is everything doesn't prove that it is. Besides, this generic claim that Cheadle could use as an excuse for everything fails to deal with the specifics of the question. With the word unfortunate, she doesn't acknowledge the concern people have. On the contrary, she makes the concern sound out of place, if not downright preposterous. Next, the issue is about the misconduct inside the agency, such as drunkenness.
We've implemented a number of things. I've made sure that the workforce knows that misconduct won't be tolerated. We ensure that there's a full investigation that's taken place whenever there is an allegation. If we need to put a person on admin leave or revoke their security clearance, we'll do that.
So they've implemented a number of things. Really? I'm sure glad that everything in this news feature is so specific. Once again, these are claims. Do we hear any critical follow-up questions? Anything that contradicts Cheadle's narrative? Of course not, because this is about highlighting Cheadle's ethos. So she'll revoke someone's security clearance for misconduct. Sounds great, right? Well, she'll grant someone security clearance based on the person's innate characteristics. So that's not so great.
To expand hiring, they're aiming to have 30% women recruits by 2030, and even allowed YouTube influencer Michelle Carre to train with agents.
I like how they make it sound like that's a good thing, as if the purpose of Secret Service is to make each individual agent feel empowered. It's worth noting that this news feature doesn't challenge the
job of a Secret Serviceman is to protect the president at all costs. Why are we making this like a publicity stunt?
Controversial proposition of hiring people based on their innate characteristics, as if this is a way to expand hiring that benefits the people
that Secret Service agents are there to protect. So during the rally attack, were Trump and everybody at the rally supposed to think, this is bad, but I'm so glad that Secret Service is diverse? With this kind of reasoning, what's to stop someone from suggesting that there should be an equal number of left and right-handed people in the Secret Service, because their brains are structured differently?
But I'm very conscious, as I sit in this chair now, of making sure that we need to attract diverse candidates and ensure that we are developing and giving opportunities to everybody in our.
It shouldn't matter, like, again, if the person is left or right. It should be a matter that person that's hired has no political gain in any direction. Like, they don't like Trump, they don't like Biden, they don't like whoever. Their strictly main goal is to make sure that the man of the United States of America, or future, possibly woman, you never know, be protected at all times, because that person makes or breaks all the decision making when it comes to diverse countries and so forth. So they shouldn't be, oh, I like Biden better, or I like Trump better, or it's like that person is strictly for the Secret Service. And it sounds like in some different interviews that I've heard is some of the Secret Service like Biden, some of them don't like Biden, some of them like Trump, some of them don't like Trump. It's like, that's not what they should be focused on. They should be focused on protecting Biden or protecting Trump, because after the president is done with their term, that person has Secret Service men until death, like until they die. They are protected at all times. They can't drive. I mean, it's like a whole, like, I looked at the Secret Service men and they're like structured to watch these people. Like, I still don't understand how this shooter got up there. I'm still looking into it myself. It's like the whole thing with Oswald and the John F. Kennedy assassination and the mysterious moving bullet. And it's just like, oh my gosh, we're trying to still figure this out today on John F. Kennedy, and now we have the assassination attempt on Trump, and oh, it's just too much.
Workforce, and particularly women.
Cheadle's initial formulations point to problems phrasing this the right way, as indicated by her hesitation markers. Unnecessary or obvious details.
As I sit in this chair now.
An overemphasis
of making sure that we need to,
before finally mentioning the group she wants to give preferential treatment to,
and particularly women.
This indicates stalling, reluctance to mention the specifics of her equality of outcome mindset. Furthermore, as evidenced by Cheadle's word choice and intonation,
and giving opportunities to everybody in our workforce.
There's a presupposition in her ideological statements that should be noted. The presupposition that there aren't already such opportunities, even though Western nations have had equality of opportunity, and more than that, for decades. And equality of opportunity is the issue here, because unlike equality of outcome, which is what Cheadle unapologetically strives for, equal opportunities mean that everybody has the same chance to succeed at something. It doesn't mean that standards are lowered to make sure that everybody succeeds. That's the difference between equality and equity.
I've said this for so many years, and I hope that it starts to land, but I think we can all agree that representation matters. And, you know, the key thing that I think needs to be focused on in terms of equity is that it's not a zero-sum game. Just because someone else has the same advantage that you do doesn't mean that you're losing anything. And it actually creates an environment that is so fair, but also inclusive.
I love this.
I was at a dinner and heard you speaking about diversity. You've introduced a bill, C-25, to increase female representation on boards. But it seems to me, Mr. Prime Minister, tell me if this is the goal, to essentially sort of shame corporations into doing it. You nod.
That's exactly it. Forcing a level of transparency and making people...
Just saying, look how young this man is. Like, again, I'm wondering, I don't know why I'm doing this. Why can't we have somebody in the House? Again, I'm not age discrimination, but this age, like 40s, 50s, why are we in our 70s and 80s doing this when they should be retired?
People actually explicitly say what their plan is to bring more diversity into their boards.
So according to this logic, should basketball players who
I just love these. I just love his partake on it.
5'5" be mixed with players who are 6'5"? People, no matter the gender, don't have the same physical characteristics or the same genetic disposition
It's genetics.
to succeed at the same things. Cheadle knows how
It's
to...
nothing about discrimination. It's genetics. It's just like there are women out there that can outdo me. Okay, am I going to complain about it? No, but people are going to have a problem with it in all this circumstances. But it's like they're coming up, they're grabbing at straws when it comes to this Secret Service thing about gender and age and stuff like that. Let's look at the actual facts that we see here.
use terms and phrases that sound nice and not dictatorial, which they are. Thus, a phrase like developing and giving opportunities for diverse candidates might sound enticing to some people who want shortcuts to success. However, when this developing and giving come at the expense of other groups, and maybe even at the expense of someone's life, how viable and diverse is this mindset really? Cheadle monopolizes the word diverse before the word can be used against her, because in the midst of all this inclusion of some demographics, other demographics are excluded. Also, what does a word like developing entail specifically? It means resources
They need to hire Gerard Butler. He did pretty good in all those 3 movies. Olympus Has Fallen, Angel Has Fallen, London Has Fallen. He's a good Secret Service man.
Fulfill a quota based on the
it's a movie.
director's ideological and most likely political stance, rather than focusing on training the people who already meet the criteria in terms of physicality and merits. And again, where are the grounds? What's the causal relation between Cheadle's brand of so-called diversity and a safer, better Secret Service? Where's the interviewer's doubt about Cheadle's extreme presuppositions? That's right, I forgot what this news feature is about.
With maneuvers like J-turns.
About face and keep it moving.
And next, more ethos appeal, which in light of the recent events falls flat.
Agents were there when Donald Trump was arraigned in New York.
We were able to work out the details ahead of time of how that particular day was going to go, but we will always ensure the safety of all of our protectees that we have.
And as if the agenda wasn't already clear, the host makes sure that no one misses it.
Well, the Secret Service has had some missteps recently, but what we know about them is they are really dedicated men and women to doing that job. I think it's a hard job to do, and they work very, very hard.
With zero fail is a hard standard to meet as well. I think they have a point about training with no White House to train in, no replica to model their actions on.
I love that they reached out to Tyler Perry.
How strange that they all agree. I mean, it's not like the way they acknowledge each other seems forced.
Of course, to model their actions on.
I love that they...
I'm totally convinced that this show would be open to different opinions. Misstep is the most innocuous word Gayle King could have used. It's an oversimplifying euphemism for the implications of the few criticisms in the news feature. Then she uses the conjunction but for contrast, minimizing or negating even these missteps, the same way the news feature minimized or negated the criticism. What we know about them, she continues.
But what we know about them...
The pronoun we, she presupposes shared knowledge, that the host and the viewers all know this. Presupposing shared knowledge is a way to avoid disagreement, even making disagreement impossible.
I think it's a hard job to do, and they work very, very hard.
Yes, they probably worked hard, and probably is the key word, because with the quality of outcome policies, people can't be sure if they all worked just as hard. And that's the point that the hosts, unsurprisingly, don't discuss. No, let's hear about Tyler Perry instead.
I love that they reached out to Tyler Perry. I've been to that replica, and I'm telling you, it's spot. Yeah, I have.
Well,
it's spot on.
We should tell the viewers that while the piece was rolling, you're here off camera being like, they should talk to Tyler Perry.
That's exactly what happened. And then the next line was Tyler Perry.
We called Tyler Perry.
Yes, because it's so probable that you hadn't seen the news feature beforehand. This is advertising, which unfortunately has become synonymous with much or most journalism.
Number one, we're glad to have you here.
Yeah,
Many people in your position, Mr. Wentworth, would be running for the hills at this point. Because since April, you all have faced a lot of incoming. How and why did it go so off the rails? Because that certainly wasn't your intention when you did one can to one person.
It's been a challenging few weeks. Good times, goodwill, and easy enjoyment. And we have that all packed inside of our summer campaign that we launched last week. We're in the middle of the NFL. I know Nate's not here, but we're in the middle of our NFL campaign that'll be out in a few weeks. It's right there.
So how much is this marketing boo-boo, whatever you want to call it, costing Bud Light? Tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars?
We're focusing on investing behind the brand right now. So we're actually increasing the investment on Bud Light 3 times.
People still like beer. They like it a lot.
Yeah, people love beer, and I think we're on the doorstep.
People love Bud Light.
We're on the doorstep.
People love Bud Light.
This isn't the only time Cheadle's been allowed to advertise with no tough questions asked.
So I think for me, stepping away from the agency for the period of time that I did was great perspective. It was kind of a way for me to see how things worked in the private sector, and to hopefully bring some of those skills that I learned private sector back here with me to this agency.
Now we know what at least some of those skills were.
Of making sure that we need to attract diverse candidates.
And many of the things you learn in the private sector are better to unlearn in terms of not alienating your target audience.
You know, I'm a businesswoman. I had a really clear job to do when I took over Bud Light. What does evolve and elevate mean? It means inclusivity. It means shifting the tone. It means having a campaign that's truly inclusive. And representation is at sort of the heart of evolution.
Representation.
Bud Light had been kind of a brand of fratty, kind of out of touch humor. And it was really important that we had another approach.
But way to make stepping away sound like a positive thing.
So I think for me, stepping away from the agency, and I know for me, even though I was only gone a year, it was still, there was a catch up that I had to do. And so I think that I was able to hit the ground running faster than maybe some external candidate would have been able to do.
Despite Cheadle's self-confidence and in light of the recent events, it sounds like Cheadle hasn't quite hit the ground running yet.
I think one of the things that certainly drew me back to the Secret Service is the extraordinary commitment and devotion to mission that this agency has. It's unequivocal.
And devotion to ideology, which could have negative consequences for a given mission if the people they hire aren't the very best of the very best and aren't hired on the exact same terms.
I think from a leadership perspective, it's more of an empowerment and bottoms-up approach.
Hit the ground running and empowerment. I feel like I've heard this before.
It's well known you've championed the empowerment of women and young girls. And how do you hope to continue that work with the Royal Foundation?
Yes, I mean, I think that knowing that I've just been here for 3 months, right? And in that amount of time, but with that said, for me, it's very important to, once you hit the ground running, even if you're doing it quietly behind the scenes, which is what I've focused my energy on thus far, I guess we wait a couple months and then we can hit the ground running.
Rwanda has the highest percentage of female political participants of any other country in the world, so 64%. Yes, so many of the men were lost in the genocide, so it gave women an opportunity to either succumb to that or to then find some strength and then mobilize in a way that was really empowering. And I think that's specifically what they've done, which is a great benchmark for what women all over the world could be doing.
It's the same new management speak, like they've all been reading the same handbook of platitudes. Great lessons from the private sector. I can't wait to hear more.
Because we want to be effective in what we do, because it's the best thing for our agency and certainly for our country, for our operations.
Yes, because being effective just rhymes with spending resources and developing opportunities for equality of outcome.
Sure that we are developing and giving opportunities to everybody.
Doing what's best for the country or doing what's best to meet ideological demands. That's the question they aren't asked.
To run that way.
So I think this agency does an extraordinary job of developing leaders. From a very early stage, we hire agents and officers and we put them in positions of authority and we enable them to make decisions. And that does develop some great quality leaders, and our agency is full of them.
So yeah, you had a sniper that made a decision to protect the President of the United States and you fire him?
Sounds great, but I just know there's going to be an ideological twist to this.
And I look forward to a day where we're able to talk about this agency and whoever is leading this agency and not have to distinguish, they're the second female or the fifth or the sixth, and that diversity is just part of this agency and it's not even thought about.
That was. Thank you. And it's the buzzword diversity again.
I'm a
Why can't we just worry about protecting the president?
big believer in that. Whether you call it diversity or inclusion.
Cheadle claims she looks forward to the day when people don't focus on gender, while she's literally spending time, money, and energy on advocating for gender. Irony doesn't get better than this. Irony to the point of projection. And as if Cheadle's statements weren't enough to make people doubt the real intentions of an agency that's there to protect them in the best way possible, supposedly, the following is how Secret Service officials handle concerned questions.
No one from the Secret Service has publicly decided to take questions about what happened. And I just don't understand how anyone would think that that's okay.
So my role in the Secret Service is the RNC coordinator, so that is my purview. Any questions regarding yesterday's event can be directed to our public affairs office out of DC.
Yes,
Can't
I'm
answer
sure
the question?
you'll get a clear answer there.
As a result of that, he just raises all sorts of questions about why the Secret Service is not willing to answer questions.
So again, I'm the Secret Service's RNC coordinator, so I can speak to the RNC security planning. I'd refer any questions regarding yesterday's incident to our DC public affairs office.
Yes, because of course she can't answer anything that relates to the agency she works for and represents. Most companies and organizations around the world are so busy promoting ideology, promoting what they've learned from their new management handbooks, that they don't see or don't care that in the process they alienate the very same people they claim to care about in ads. Whether it's ads on social media or news shows that aren't about journalism. That's it for now. If it's your first time here, subscribe for more videos.
So that being said, guys, I know it had two different parts to it. One where we actually focused on the actual events that took place that day, and then the other one was pretty much the disturbing statements that exposed the director of the Secret Service that was taken before the attack. It's, how do I want to say this respectfully? I think we're to the point that we're looking at general roles as, how do I want to say this? We're more focused on gender roles than the actual description at hand. The Secret Service were known to be males and females still that were the bad ASS people that were willing to go above and beyond to protect the President of the United States of America. They were the ones that would take a bullet for the president, that would do anything to ensure the president's survival. And now we're like, oh, we just want to make sure that we get the right people in the right place, and if this person wants to become a leader and stuff like that. Focus on the president. If they were more less likely to figure out that, oh, we want to get this in here and that in here, and focus on the surveying of the area that was at hand, I think they would have been better. Because like a lot of people have been saying that this event that took place, the attempted assassination, could have been deterred because, one, they didn't say green light to shoot the shooter, because they're like, wait, like, what are we waiting for? Annihilate the shooter, and then why are we getting rid of the shooter that took the shooter out? Like, what did he do wrong? He was protecting the President of the United States, and then lo and behold, he does the takeout of the person that tried to assassinate the president, and then they're like, oh, we're gonna fire you, but oh, by the way, don't look at us, guys. We're fine. We did everything by the book. No, you didn't. So that's just a little bit of what my partake is on this. If you guys want more of the deep dive on the Secret Service and stuff like that, definitely let me know in the comments if you guys want me to continue looking into this. Again, it's like the whole thing with John F. Kennedy assassination. Like, unfortunately, we lost John F. Kennedy, but by who? Was it Oswald? Was it Secret Service in front of him? Was it that old woman in the pink jacket? I mean, I've seen all these different conspiracy theories when it comes to assassination of John F. Kennedy. There is also other conspiracies with Abraham Lincoln, that it wasn't actually John Wilkes Booth. It might have been somebody else. Like, it's like, the conspiracy theories just keep on rolling and raveling, and It's ridiculous. So again, leave your comments down below. We can definitely be positive. We can debate about this without bullying each other. So please, no negativity in the bottom. I don't care if you're left or if you're right. Just talk amongst each other and not cause riffraff. We can discuss and debate like adults. Again, thank you guys for being here. Please take care, be safe, and as always, keep nerding on. And we'll see you guys in the next one.